Hey everybody, welcome back to week 3 of Overturned, our series in the book of Esther. We've introduced Esther, we've introduced Mordecai and Haman, and we've been left in this scene where we're wondering if Esther is going to speak up for her people and save her people. Now, as I've been reading this story, I've been thinking, I kind of resonate with Mordecai. See, Mordecai was doing the right stuff. He was faithful to God. He was honest and trustworthy. And yet we're left with wondering, is God going to step in and save Mordecai's life and his people's? I resonate with that because growing up, I was a good kid. I didn't cheat. I tried to do my best in school. And yet there was always somebody who seemed to be getting what they wanted, but doing it the wrong way. Jerks were getting girls, cheaters were getting better grades. And I wonder if Mordecai kind of felt what I felt, which was, does God even care if we do the right things? So as we think about the next part of the story, I want you to imagine what it was like for Mordecai to sit there and wait on God to see if he was going to show up. So let's jump back into the story, check it out.
What's up, guys? Let's get back into Esther. So we left off last week with Esther making the decision to be bold. She said, if I perish, I perish. So she is going to orchestrate this really wise situation to try and save her people. She's going to set up a banquet with the king. But she's smart, and she invites Haman too, the one who's trying to kill her people. It probably looks something like this.
Hey, King Xerxes! You want to have a banquet with me? And let's invite Haman!
Alright, so Esther sets this up, and Haman gets pumped. He goes home to talk to his wife about it in Esther chapter 5, verses 12 through 14. He's talking to his wife, he's like, this is awesome! Esther set this up, but all of this is worth nothing, because this one guy, Mordecai, won't bow down to me. All of his joy is stolen because one guy won't bow down. So his wife says, kill him. Let's get Haman killed. So Haman comes up with this plan to kill Mordecai. It probably looks something like this.
Everything is going great. Esther has invited me to banquet. It is awesome. But it is all worth nothing because Mordecai won't bow down to me. I know. I'll have him killed.
All right, so Haman is living good. He's in a really good state right now. But Mordecai is stealing his joy. Everything else is going great for him, though. What's life like for Mordecai? Well, if we look back in Esther chapter 4, in the first couple of verses, we see Mordecai is in a rough spot. Dude looks rough. Nasty clothes, dirty, ash on his face, fasting. He's literally representing death right here. So if we compare where Haman is and Mordecai, it's pretty big difference. In fact, Mordecai probably looks something like this. All right, so we've got a big setup here. We've got Mordecai who's literally looking like death. He's in a really low spot. We've got Haman who has everything he could ask for, and we have Esther setting up this huge plan to try and save her people. Right now, it's not looking good. The fate of the Jewish people is in danger. The line to the Messiah that's coming to save them, it's in danger. And it makes you have to ask in this situation, where is God? Where is the big miraculous sign that he's going to do to save his people here? Well, if we look in Esther chapter 6, everything gets overturned by one simple thing. Esther chapter 6, verse 1 starts with, the king couldn't sleep. See, King Xerxes goes to bed this night and he can't sleep. He's restless, he's trying to figure out a way to sleep, so he finds a book to read, and it's a book of good things that have happened, good deeds that people have done. And when he's reading it, he sees Mordecai saved his life, and he hasn't been rewarded. So he decides to reward Mordecai. And all because this king couldn't sleep, everything gets overturned. It probably looks something like this.
I cannot sleep. Here, give me book. What? Mordecai saved my life? I must reward him.
All right, so after this, Esther chapter 6, verses 5 through 12, we see an interaction between Haman and King Xerxes. Haman comes to the king, and the king tells him, hey, what should I do if I really want to reward somebody well? And Haman gets pumped because he thinks that has to be me. I'm the one thriving. I'm killing it right now. And so he tells the king all these things that he should do to reward this person, thinking it's himself. Then the king says, thanks for the advice. Go do all those things to Mordecai. I'm thinking Haman's reaction probably looked like this.
Wait, what?
So Haman is floored. He can't believe it. The roles have been overturned here. Mordecai, who is representing death, is now being exalted. Haman, who had everything, is now having to serve this guy. But Haman was okay because he's still got this banquet to look forward to. So he goes, Xerxes, Esther, Haman, to this banquet. And Esther is bold and goes before the king and asks for him to save her people, the Jewish people. When the king hears about this plan to kill all the Jewish people, he asks, whose plan was this? Who's responsible? And Esther lets him know it was Haman. And the king decides, well, then we should kill Haman. It probably went down something like this.
If it pleases the king, would you save all my people, the Jewish people? Because Haman's trying to have them all killed!
What? This was Haman's idea? Have him killed. I am dead.
So there you have it. Esther trusts God and speaks up for her people. Then you have Mordecai, who trusts God and God actually saves. And then you have Haman. Well, we saw what happened to Haman. Haman schemed and he plotted and he worked his way up to the top in the wrong way. And what happened to him? Justice was served. So I want to ask you this question. We could be like Mordecai, or we could be like Haman. Mordecai trusted God, did the right thing, and waited for God to act. He knew that God was trustworthy and that justice was going to be done, even if it didn't look like it. Or you could be like Haman, who worked hard to scheme, to plot, who did everything the wrong way, thinking that he was going to get away with it. And the reality is, sin and wrong behavior, those are all things that eventually are going to find you out. It may not happen now, it may not even happen a year from now, but you're going to get found out because God is a God of justice. He's also a God of grace and forgiveness. And in this story, we see that God rescues those who trust him and who wait on him. And those who try to do things on their own way, well, they end up doing exactly as well as you expect. Next week, we're going to find out what happens to Esther's people, Mordecai's people, the Israelites, and see if God really does rescue all of them. See you next time.